Hello everyone, it's Daniel with Coin Help You, and today we're going to discuss Jefferson Nickels, whether you should send them off and have them graded or not. I have several examples here from PCGS and Annex and a couple from NGC. I'm going to look at proofs, we're going to look at business strikes, and we're also going to look at the difference between 5 and 6 steps and help you maybe decide on whether a coin is actually full steps or not. It makes a difference in value, so stay tuned. Okay, we're going to run through several graded examples, and as I do that, I'm going to progress in grade. This is a business strike. It's struck by Annex. It's actually the 1944 S. It's a silver war nickel, what they call a wartime, and they graded at 65, of course. And as you can see, it's a pretty nice coin. And I'm doing this so that we're close into the field of view here. The whole coin can't be seen because I want you to be able to see the details. One of the focal areas when you're grading these is right here on this cheek. When you see marks there, there's a certain amount that is allowed in that area. When you start seeing them up in here on the face and down in here, and it gets to the point where it backs the grade up to 64 and 63. And you'll see that as we go along here. One thing to note as you're watching these and watching this video and you're looking at these pictures, that you might see differences in the same grade. And that's one of the things that you run into with these companies. You've got some inconsistency amongst some of the coins because not every coin gets marked up the same. Not every coin has the same amount of same look to it. If some of these are out of focus, I don't mean for that to happen, but sometimes the camera's hard to focus. I can't get in there real close and zoom in and focus, micro focus, macro focus. So as you can see here, there's more marks here than there is on the other one. The other one looks really nice. I mean, you can almost argue if you wanted to look at both of them here together. If I can get them back in here, it's going to be hard to do that. I can't do that. But you can see this one here. There's marks in the areas here, but then when you get to this 65, yeah. So I'm just saying, this is one of the things that frustrates you because maybe the other one should be 66. And this one should be 65, or should this be 64? You know, we can go back and forth, and you run into this kind of thing all the time when you're looking at graded coins. I see hundreds of images, if not, and I've seen thousands, tens of thousands over my lifetime of coins graded. And you know, I'm not trying to knock any company, but it's very difficult whenever you're using human eyes to be exact every single time. So the next one here is another 65, and that gives us 3 to compare to. And you know, I didn't put these in any particular order, but as you can see, you know, it has some marks up in here a little bit and right here, but it's pretty clean down in this area. You know, so you can pretty much come up with whatever grade you think these are. You know, they are definitely gem looking coins. They're really nice looking coins. Next is going to be an MS66 example of the same year. Someone sent off a roll of these and we bought the entire roll. And they didn't get 167 out of all the coins they sent in. They sent 40 out of the whole roll, and the highest grade they got was 66. And here's another. This is a 66. Now, do you see differences? You see a little bit less marks maybe in this area. You know, you do see some scuffs up in here, but it's not really anything too distracting. It's a pretty nice looking coin there. And then we'll go and look at another one here. And you know, this one here, it looks comparable to the 65 that I put out first there. But like I said, this is what you run into. You know, it gets kind of frustrating. You send in 40 coins or 100 coins, and they're going to look at every one of them. And each one of them can get a different grade or similar grades, and some of them are going to look like the grade of another coin, and others are going to not look like the grade they should be. And it's very inconsistent, and it's not just Annex, it's not just NGC or PCGS, it's all of them. And one of the things to note, none of those were full steps, and I want to show an example of full steps here too. Here we have a 1971D graded by PCGS, and they graded it mint state 66 full steps. PCGS puts full steps, whether it's 5 or 6. NGC has used the 5 and 6 step designation. The only difference I see, we'll cover that in a little bit here. As you can see, this coin looks really nice. To me, it's comparable to any 67 I can find on Heritage coin auctions or stacks. You know, there's no real large distracting marks or areas on the coin. As I turn it into light, you can see the focal area that we always talk about in here, and down in the coat area, the collar, and up in the hair. It's just pretty clean. There are a couple little marks there. You can see it as I turn it, but nothing that's horrible. And then turn it over here, and we'll try to focus in for you so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. As you can see, this is full steps here, and it's hard to see in the image. I'm going to put up a 5 and 6 step so that you can compare here in a minute. As you can see, the 5 and 6 steps here, the bottom step can be weak and still get full step. That's called 5 full step. Your 6 full step, every step has to be fully struck. And it's actually a striking designation where the coin's struck so well. Okay, there are different steps on the Jefferson nickel. There's the 38, and then of course in 1939 they started changing the steps. In the 38 they're kind of wavy. Typically, you know, this is a 5 full step here. As you can see, the bottom step is a little weak, and that's enough. Just if it's just a little bit weak in the middle there, you're going to get a 5 step on that one. And here is an example of 6 full steps. We've got six full steps on this. This is highly desirable. And let's just give you an idea of what these steps look like and what to expect when you're looking at full steps and how you can get the full steps. Full step Jefferson Nickels are really valuable in certain grades, and certain dates and mints are very difficult to find in the full step. Okay, here's a 1940 proof 63 graded by Annex. You know, 1940 is a little lower mintage on the Jefferson Nickels, and that's one thing to note. Your earlier Jefferson Nickel proofs are lower mintage and are desirable. As you can see on this one, there's like a little spotting, which is real common. The proofs from that era were mishandled, and they often were in plastic that reacted with the coin alloy. And as you can see here, there's marks on the coin. And also to note that it doesn't have anything about steps on it. And that's the reason for that, is that a proof has full steps. They're struck more than once. You know, focus in. Yeah, they're struck more than once, so they've got full steps. So it's not a special designation. Almost all your proofs, I'm not seeing a proof without full steps. There might be an example somewhere, but you know, 99% of them are going to have full steps. And here's another one that we sent off, and it's actually a PCGS proof 65, and 65 seems to be the average grade you're going to get on these. It's very difficult to get any higher. This one here I sent off because of the toning, and it's actually the video doesn't really do justice to the toning. It's really nice, but I've got this focused in real close. So you're seeing all the little tiny imperfections that cause this coin to get 65 instead of the 66 or 67. You know, when any of these Jefferson Nickels, when you start getting in the 67 range, you're looking at some value. 68 is real rare and very valuable in these. 1951 Jefferson Nickel proof, and it was graded 66 by PCGS. And 1951 is a good year in the proofs as well. And there you have you know, some marks on the coin but just a little bit better than the previous coin. But like I said, they were mishandled, and those packages really reacted with the coins. Some of them are really dark. Here's another thing that you look at for the proofs. You want that cameo effect on both sides. If you can get that, that makes them more rare too. And next is an NGC example, and this one here was graded proof 66, which is typical. One of the higher ones that you'll usually get, but it's real common. 67 and 68 is the grade that you really want. And 1941 is also a lower mintage proof. And take a look at this one here. You can see the marks in the focal areas, and it looks a little bit better. Like I said, when you've got a reflective surface like this, and I've got lighting coming in, it really reflects, all the little imperfections, and we're focused in. I mean, this is a lot bigger than the coin itself, and you got it in hand, it doesn't look as bad. Here's on the reverse again. Like I said, it's going to focus in. Now let's look at some of the values. Full step versus no step, and the 67s and 68 values, to see if, which ones are actually worth sending off. There's a few that are extremely rare, and I'll give you an example. A 1938, if it's graded 67 with full steps, you're looking at $525. If it grades 67 without full steps, a 38, you're looking at $175 retail. Now this is in a PCGS holder. Your 38S is $1,200 with full steps. Without, it's $250. So the main thing is to look at is that you want to get that 67. 67 is the grade, and you saw a few 66 there, and I didn't get a 67. It's a very difficult grade to get. But if you can get a 66 with full steps, in a 1938, you're looking at $140. So it makes it worth it. If you can get and find a nickel, and mint sets is one place to find a lot of your full steps. It's one way to look through uncirculated rolls. There are some that are just extremely valuable if you can find them in the full steps. And later on, the 39S with reverse of 1940, I didn't go too much into that because that's another video of itself. But you're talking about a coin, if it grades in full steps in 67, it's $15,000 retail. So you want to try to find that. You want that 67. That's the magic grade on these modern coins. And some of these are considered before modern. Modern's PCGS defines it as 55 and up. But anyways, the bottom line is on this, you want to get that 67 grade. And as you get more modern, the closer you get up here, and I'm scrolling for you to show you, when you get into the 60s, sometimes 67 can be worth like a 62. If you've got a full step 62 Jefferson nickel and it grades 67, that's $6,500. If PCGS puts a plus on that, it goes to $27,000. So it takes a lot of searching. It's very difficult to get these grades, guys. And I look down through when you start getting into the 70s, it's very hard to find a 67. A lot of these coins, the business strike coins, they were mishandled. And a 73D, if you can get it in full steps in 67, it's worth $2,750. $2,750. So it's not to hype you up. I mean, if you can get a 66 full steps and a 75 plain, it's another one that's 175. Those are obtainable. You're more than likely going to find a 66 if you find a really nice coin. It takes something special to get a 67 designation. And sometimes people recommend that you walk it through at a show, maybe send it in with a dealer. I'm not saying that you can get favorable from market grading or whatever people want to claim, but I do know that sometimes you have to play it a little bit and maybe resubmit. I know I've resubmitted myself, and nobody's going to tell you, no dealer's going to tell you that if you resubmit that you can't get a higher or lower grade. You can get a different grade if you resubmit. I've done it myself. So anybody that denies that, is pulling someone's leg, because you can. Okay, and I know you can. And if I got a 66 and I sent it back in and got a 67 or a 65, that can happen. And I'm not trying to make it look like, yeah, you can get these lottery coins. But if you work at it hard enough and you really study it and you learn it, your chances are greater that you can get a 67. So I hope this helped you out, and I hope it opened your eyes to a few things. And thanks for watching my video, and please subscribe, man.